Welcome to another Insiders Elite. Today, Jamie and I are super excited. It's going to be lots of fun. We're going to do branding and messaging and talk about the way you communicate with your prospective clients or your leads or people that you think might be interested in what you've got to offer. Jamie, welcome.
Hi, Michael. I see that you're a coach. How long have you been coaching for? How many messages a day do you get like that? How many messages do you get just like that? Oh, man. Hey, welcome everyone to the show. Super excited to jump into this one. And you know what? I got a feeling we're probably going to hurt some feelings today. We're probably going to step on some people and they're probably not going to like it. But guess what? We're here. We're real. We're raw. And we want to give you the real, true, unfair advantage. The unfair advantage, it's not doing the same thing that everyone else is. We're going to share some stuff here that's going to be awesome. Mick, I'm excited. We're going to do things a little different today. I've put together quickly. I threw this together this morning. So no, it's not the most professional thing. But this information here that we're going to share today, really getting into messaging, reaching out to your ideal clients, how to actually start those conversations. This is something that, we see all the time. And we see it for the most part being done wrong. Mick, how often do you get this? Like whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, whether it's something, how often are you getting messages just like how I started the show off today?
I reckon I probably get at least one a day.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. And the more you're out there, the more you're going to get. But what if someone actually took some time to take a look at your profile, to take a look at what it is you do, not to ask you silly questions like, do you do coaching? Do you work with businesses? I mean, Awaken Business, God, I would never know that you worked with business. I mean, come on. If someone actually took that time to actually get to know you, to create some level of, and I'm going to use a really cool word here, status tip-off, to create some level of status alignment where you believe that you could actually connect with that person, what's the likelihood of you actually moving ahead and potentially doing something with that vendor?
It's way more likely, Jamie. It's probably going to build some level of genuine, authentic connection as well along the way. You see it so often. It's frustrating that you get the message, hey, love to connect. I like to connect people and I like to share the fact that I want to sell you a product.
Mm-hmm.
In some version of that, there's so many different versions of the same. Hey, I love to connect. I help coaches develop their websites. Here's a free sample of my websites. Mm-hmm. Oh, great. Thanks. They haven't even bothered to look if I have a website, or they haven't done anything to add any value. They just want you to connect with them.
Yeah. And it's funny that you would bring up that exact example, because I've got something here that we're going to take a look at. I'm actually going to share the slides up here. We're going to take a little look at it and just see what kind of what's been going on out there. This is a really great opportunity. Audience, if you're out there, if you're taking notes, like really seriously take notes on this, because we're going to teach you how to do something different. Right? Normally we come on, we share some great theory. Today is a very practical exercise. So I want you to go ahead and take notes like you're about to teach it, because this could very well change the way you do things. Now, why am I making such a big deal of this? Look, ideas are met with receptors that we have in our brains. Now, look at what's happening in this day and age. We're being inundated with telemarketers, with messaging all the time. I was going through Instagram here the other day, and I'm taking a look, and there's something happening that I really didn't notice. Almost every second post, right? I'm going through my feed. Almost every second post is an ad. Now, what's really interesting is, number one, the fact that I recognize it, because for the most part, subconsciously, I'll see where it says sponsored. What am I doing? I'm just zipping on by, right? My receptors are tuned in to ignore that stuff. So when I'm getting messages that look like someone's trying to sell me something, what am I doing? I'm zipping on by. I'm not interested. See, the thing is here, and I learned from my mentors, key difference here. People don't want to be sold to. People want to buy. If you're taking notes, take a big note on that one there. People don't want to be sold to. People want to buy. What is it that creates enough intrigue? What is it that really gets those people stepping up, saying, yes, I want your product. Yes, I want your service. How is that landing with you so far, Mick?
Jamie, it aligns perfectly, because I have the exact same receptors. When you see that, you just scroll on by. Yeah. like you say, you're tuned out to it, and that's 100% right. People want to buy; they don't want to be sold to. The way people transact in the market now, the way people are attracted to products, it's changing. It's creating that intrigue, that stuff to make them want to step forward. It's not you forcing something at them and them going, "Oh, that's a great idea." 2 years ago, you had to take 4 to 5 impressions before somebody built some recognition with your brand. Now it's over 20. In another 12 months, it'll probably be 40 times they've got to see in your brand before they start to build any kind of trust or any kind of level before they want to transact with you. So the way people are buying changes, and if you don't change, you'll get left behind.
No question whatsoever. Let's jump in. I created this quick little slideshow here. We're going to take a little look at it here, and don't worry, it's not death by PowerPoint. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it because I've taken some actual examples of some chat sequences here. I've blocked people's names out, not to hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that, but we're going to put some stuff up, and we're going to take a look at what some common sequences are, and they might even sound familiar to you. So let's see if I can get this all shared up here. All right, there we go. Look at that. Hopefully we can see it on the screen. Hopefully we're all there. So check this out. So this came through, and this came through LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, I've noticed, has been a really, really, really big one for people looking to hawk their wares. They want to sell something, right? And for the most part, I've got to believe that it comes across as, hey, I would love to connect. How many of these do you get, Mick? Someone stepping up saying, hey, I want to connect with you. How many of those do you get?
I reckon at least half of the connection requests that you get are those. At least half.
Right. Hey, always looking to build out my network on LinkedIn. I hope it's okay. Now, on the surface, this looks great. Yeah, I'd love to connect with people. So what did I do? Well, I responded. Right. It's always great to connect with others who truly value connection. Connection's great. I love to connect with people, real, true people. Right. Over pushing a sale like so many others do on here. Now, I got a little cheeky with this, right? Again, what's happened is those receptors in my brain, they're looking for someone to sell me shit. They're literally out there looking. So I've got some pre-wired ideas in my mind that, hey, a lot of these people are just simply wanting to sell their wares. So I've put in some interesting little words in there. Hey, you know what? I do value connecting with people, but it's about connecting with people who truly want to share some value back and forth. We can add some value back to each other. And maybe down the road, there's a product or service that either you or I have that can really help our businesses grow. So, hey, I'm all about connecting. But watch this. Watch this. This is what happened next. And I'm going to read it off for all of our listeners who aren't viewing. It says, hi, Jamie. I'm the team coordinator for a project that links people up like you with a free website as a way of giving stable work to web developers from countries suffering from famine. Now, a couple things. What do you know about me? How have you demonstrated in any sort of way, shape, or form that you know anything about me? For the most part, unless you've really taken some time. And here's a big key takeaway. I want everyone out there who is connecting, who is utilizing chat sequences, because we're not saying chat sequences are bad. Please don't think that. There's a time and a place for chat sequencing. They can work for certain types of products, certain types of people. But when you're really getting to know that person, you're making big, bold statements. People like you. Well, what am I like? Some people could even take offense to that. Now, when I say, hey, Mick, people like you, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
First thing that comes to mind straight away is you get your back up. You're like, people like me, like what?
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Yeah.
How do you know? You got no idea.
Yep. Yeah.
Straight away, you get defensive and you shut down, and that sale is that opportunity, that connection is just closed off. Sever that connection. See you later.
Yep. Exactly. Now, what have they done here too? Check this out. We're going to talk framing here because this person's gone ahead and they've put in a moral authority frame, right? We give stable work to web developers from countries suffering from famine, war, or economic collapse. We work mostly with Ugandans. Now, that sounds great, but what that also does is it puts a moral authority frame out there, right? Let's put that, Jamie, go do the right thing. Now, there's almost a little bit of guilt in that. Still at this point, though, right? At this point where you're still exploring me, you're still learning about me, you're still wanting to know, what are my likes? What are my desires? What do I appreciate? Where do I really want to grow? They didn't do that, though. They just skipped right ahead. They, what would we call it? Maybe assumed the sale, right? Do you have any interest in getting a professional website at no charge? Happy to send you over some sample websites, for example. Now, what's really interesting here, and I flashed this, this is just a screenshot of my website. Now, I don't know. I'm looking at it. I mean, I'm not an SEO guy. I'm not a web developer, but it kind of looks a little bit professional to me. See, what this does is it shows an outright lack of any sort of effort. Mick, how hard is it to go onto someone's profile, regardless of the platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever? How hard is it to go and find someone's website?
Simple. Most people have it linked in the top in their About Us. There's a click there. You just look at it and go, oh, this guy's, hey, we've connected. Awesome. Let me just check out. Look, it's so simple. It literally would have taken 30 seconds for that person to completely flip that conversation around.
Yep.
Click on your website and say, hey, I noticed you got a super professional website. What we do, we'd love to be able to work with you, or, literally just saying, I noticed you have a really good website, and this, give them anything, some value about the website, get some form of way to add some value. We noticed you had a really professional website. However, when we looked at the SEO, it didn't quite rank as good as it could. What we do, anything could have been better than what they did. They didn't put any effort into knowing Jamie or getting to know that the person or what he's about or his website, or they just went straight in for the sale without adding any value. They made judgment statements like people like you without putting any context about what he's like. It's so easy to put a little bit of effort into this to understand the person that you're talking to first and build some genuine connection, but so it misses the mark so often.
Yep. Put in the work. I get it. It's not cookie cutter. It's not copy and paste. I can't just take that same message and copy and paste it into it. It's going to be a little bit more work. But let's face it here, and we're going to talk about size. We're going to talk about size in a little bit here. But there's a big difference in between a smaller value product. Maybe it's for coaches that are just starting out. Maybe it's for people who are junior in those positions. We're not saying there's no place for chat sequences. And when you go ahead, put a little bit of extra effort into it, make it really impactful, make it super on point, guess what happens to your sales conversions? Your sales conversions literally go through the roof. Why? It's hyper relevant. Look at what Mick shared. Hey, Jamie, you got a great website. Here's some opportunities for better SEO and all that, even if you just did this. Now, I get it. It kind of goes against the standard norm out there. But if someone told me, someone gave me some information, shows me that they looked at it, shows me that they went in, they took a little look, and let's face it, we can do all sorts of SEO analysis online, this and that, and give you all sorts of reports. If they took just a little snippet of the report and said, hey, we noticed this, right? We noticed that you're not really ranking for any of these keywords. If you were to go ahead and do this, take X action, whatever X action is, and hey, I'm not an SEO guy, but if you went ahead and took this action, we can guarantee you at least a 32% bump in your overall traction on your website. And if they just gave that to me, it's like, well, now that's very different. That's providing me some absolute true value up front. They've recognized what I've done. They've recognized who I am as a person, what I do. They're not coming across and just selling, but no, this person's just going in for the sell. Now, I get it. You're like, Jamie, hey, wait. They were going to give you a free website. Look, I'm going to break the rules here. Mick, is it okay if I break the rules?
Break the rules, Jamie. Break the rules.
Nothing's free. It might be an introductory. It might be something. ClickFunnels is free for 14 days. No, it's not. You will spend a disproportionate amount of your time setting up that ClickFunnel, going in there, getting it all done. And when 14 days is up, you're like, hell no, I'm not going to stop now. I've invested too much of my time. I must continue. Please, Russell Brunson, go ahead, take my $98 a month. Nothing is free. Okay? Nothing is free. And we don't need to make it free. The idea behind the whole free thing, yes, it's for you, the consumer, you, the business out there, to get a little sample of who we are. But make no mistake about this. The intent behind those free pieces is to get you to move forward in some way, shape, or form. Thoughts about that, Mick?
Yeah, Jamie, I 100% agree. We've talked about this a fair bit. And like to say, nothing is free except this show for now.
Yeah.
Literally, it's free. It's on the website. It's on social media. You can view it anytime you want. You can look at the recordings. It's 100% free. There is no link attached. But generally, like when people put these offers forward, nothing is free. There's always something attached which leads to a sale. That's the whole purpose of them. When people offer a free this or a free that, or like, hey, we all do it. It's part of marketing. Hey, download my free ebook on a topic. That topic's super relevant, helps the people that it's aimed at. However, you've got to give something to get it. It's not free. You give your email address.
Yep.
So you're paying for your email address, your contact, your connection to get it. Like in sales and marketing, nothing is free.
No, that's exactly it.
It has a cost of something.
No question.
Whether it's your time to set up like Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels, or whether it's your email address or your contact or your phone number, nothing is free.
No, it's not. Right. We are ultimately looking to make some sort of sale at some point or another. Why do we do this shows? Well, of course, right? People have come to us from those shows. It's like, man, you shared something so amazingly. Could you do that in my business? Make no mistake. I mean, at this point in time, at least anyways, we don't charge because we love to provide this massive value out there, right? It might not be that way always in the future, but at least for now, hey, it's free. So definitely take full advantage of it. No question whatsoever. What's the ultimate goal, though? Yeah, it's so that you get a little taste of Mick. You get a little taste of me. You get to see if we're typically the type of people that you would like to work to, that we could add massive value in your business. Anyways, I'm going to jump back to the slide deck here. Check out what I responded. I said, oh, the first thing you do prior to even taking the time to know me is present your offer. I wrote, I almost feel dirty. Okay, why did I write that? Because it's like they're jumping in bed with me before they even get to know me. Now, I mean, there might be a time and place for that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But in all honesty, when it comes to business, when it comes to that, take the time to get to know, right? Take the time to get to know. I'm going to contextualize this, though. Again, for a $20, $30 product, hey, no big deal. When you're talking about a $50,000, $100,000 training, mentoring, coaching package, it's very different. We're not using chat sequences to connect with Jeff Bezos. We're not using chat sequences to connect with Elon or anything like that whatsoever. It's a very, very different process, right? There's some real thought to this. I got another one. Okay, this one's interesting. There's a whole bunch of interesting things wrong with this one here. Hi there. Facebook suggested you and your Facebook branding definitely caught my eye. Now, Facebook branding. What the heck is Facebook branding? I don't know what Facebook... Mick, do you know what Facebook branding is? No. We have branding for our brand, right? So instantly, it's like, what are we also doing? We have receptors for anything that doesn't necessarily fit within our predefined expectations. Now, this isn't a judgmental thing or anything like that, but I notice language patterns. I notice certain things about the way certain things are read. Again, I'm not judging. This isn't about judgment or anything like that. There's no place for judgment. But I'll typically see some interesting language patterns that might indicate to me that that person, may be from, a different country or something like that. Again, this isn't coming from a place of judgment, but it's just I can tell. And I can appreciate that because I've worked with people all over the world. I've had my own VAs that are from the Philippines, that are from wherever, right? I'm a big believer in doing that. But I'm also looking for those things because it's a bit of a tip off to me, right? So just a little bit of a tip off. It's like, hey, you know what? This person's most likely looking to sell something, right? Facebook branding, right? Kind of missed the mark there in that message, right? It's like, you know what? Your brand is awesome. I'm seeing what you're doing out there. I'm seeing the massive value that you're sharing. Wow, right? Really appreciate you sharing that. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool, right? Warm it up a little bit. Here we go. And because you seem established in your field. Now it's like, okay, what tells you that I'm established in my field? Because I put a lot of content out? Truth of the matter is content isn't anything, right? Content's a little bit of information. We're sharing a little bit of stuff, but really quite seriously here, content doesn't say anything about either of our skill levels or anything like that. Content is designed to capture the viewer's eye. How many exposures does it take, Mick, before the average person even recognizes that you're out there?
20.
Yeah.
Currently. And that's changing.
Look at that. 20 exposures. That takes a lot of effort to get that information out there. So yeah, what do we have to do? We have to get that information out there. But that doesn't say a single thing about your effectiveness. Right? The proof is in the pudding. Anyways, right, let's go back to this. We've been working in organic biz growth for 2 years and we love it. Great. Interesting. How long have you been working in your field? And that right there is about when it fell off for me. Because let's face it, if anyone took 2 minutes, 3 minutes to actually go through the profile, there's clearly defined times when I started the business, when we started the business, when we started doing it. It's very easy to see if you take the time to do it, if you put in the time and effort into the research, you can see where someone's gone ahead and started a business or whatnot. To me, that's a redundant question. I wouldn't be asking that question. It's a very low status question. Your thoughts about that, Mick?
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. And it just, like you mentioned, it highlights the lack of effort that's gone into it. It's lazy conversation. It's literally following a script without putting any effort in. It's asking low hanging questions that might get a response. And it's like it just shows no effort. No. And it's one thing that grinds my gears because I'm huge on effort.
Yep.
Whether it's kids in sport, whether it's people in school, it's about the effort that goes in because effort equals results in the long term.
Yeah.
So it just shows no effort, which is probably a reflection of the results they're getting from their chat sequencing.
Absolutely. Let me show you a little bit about effort, though. So because I like to engage with people, right? Myself, my team, I've showed them how to engage, right? I've given them some, we could call it chat sequences. So this is what I responded with, right? It's always great to connect with others who truly value connection over pushing a sale or attempting to enroll me into the next best program like so many others do on here. That's gold. That's gold because that's almost like a chat sequence killer right there. That's almost like a chat sequence killer. Right? It's always great to connect with others who truly value connection over pushing a sale or attempting to enroll me in the next best program like so many others do on here. Like, where do you go from there? If you're chat sequencing, if you've got a chat sequence like it's almost a chat sequence killer there. So I like to have a little bit of fun. But then guess what? By the way, you've got Jamie's assistant, Raylene, here. We like to be honest and transparent right up front. Look at that. Now, they're not dealing with me. They're actually dealing with my assistant, right? Raylene got on, put the information up there, shared it up there and all that. And then get this, right? What was it specifically that had you send the connection request out specifically? Notice the language pattern. I'm looking for something specific. Did they pay attention? Now, to me, right, and Mick, if someone sent you something like this, right, what was it specifically that had you send the connection request out? What would you do? What would you share?
Straight away, Jamie, I would jump on your profile. I would have a look and find something interesting that caught my eye and say, hey, Raylene, if you could pass on to Jamie specifically, we loved this, and this about your profile. Thanks for the connection request. We too value connection.
Whoa. Mind blown. Now, how hard was that? How hard was that?
Not at all.
But what do you think happened to my response? I put that out. Right, I put that. You want to know what happened to that response?
Tumbleweeds.
That's it right there. Freaking crickets, man. Nothing. Why? Because number one, I guess, you know what? I guess that power frame, if we want to call it that chat buster sequence there that I put out that I actually like to connect, right? It dissuaded them from moving forward. But this young man, this 24-year-old young man that creates $400,000 a month, it's like, ooh, right? What an opportunity. See, when I'm faced with this stuff, and if it's a challenge, I see it as an opportunity, right? Maybe I've got a bit of an unfair advantage in that I've reprogrammed my brain to go look for those opportunities. To me, everything's a freaking opportunity. What's the saying? When you're a hammer, everything's a nail, right? When there's challenges, everything's an opportunity. I go actively looking for those opportunities, right? It's great. So it's a mindset thing. But check this next part out. Write this down. Value plus intrigue equals momentum. Value plus intrigue equals momentum. What is momentum? That's moving the sale forward. That's moving that relationship, because what are we doing? We're really establishing a relationship with that prospect. Right? When we add a ton of value up front, but we also create the intrigue. right? We're not giving away all the answers. Intrigue is what starts to get it going. Intrigue is what fires off the dopamine in the brain. It's like, ooh, tell me more. How do I hop in that sexy Ferrari and go for a ride? That's what we want to create. So check this one out. And this one actually wasn't too bad. Right? I like this one. Watch this. Hey, Jamie, I found your recent LinkedIn post and I wonder whether I can share it with 300 of my connections. Please accept this connection request so you can tell me if you're okay with getting 300 more views on your LinkedIn post. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I kind of like this. Because what are they doing? Value forward. Value forward. But Mick, what's it missing?
Look, it's missing. It's missing just that little bit of genuineness. Which post, but it's not being very specific about what exactly it wants to share. Oh, well, your LinkedIn post. Oh, which one? The one about where I celebrated this, or like, it lacks a bit of attention to detail. Not a bad approach, but it just lacks that edge.
Yeah. Now, what's funny about this? Someone sent me a picture, and it's this plant, but the plant that grows, it looks like a penis, right? Straight up, this plant, it's a real plant, it's a real thing, but it looks like a penis, right? So I was going to write back and say, this post here, I didn't, but that would have been a lot of fun because I like to do stuff like that sometimes, right? I really do. But check this out, right? This one wasn't bad. And I let the person know, hey, you know what? Not bad. That's an approach I haven't seen yet. And I suggested, here's what could make it more powerful. Take a screenshot of the post and send that in the message. Mick, you nailed it, right? Yeah, tell me which post, right? Which post are we talking about, right? Tell me which one it is. Furthermore, the number you've suggested to me, I mean, 300 people, I respect everyone, but 300 people really is a bit of a low number. Now, if you told me you're going to pop this thing out in front of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, it's like, ooh, well, that's interesting. Right? To get that kind of exposure in front of 100,000 people, now we've got some interest here, right? Yeah. And I just said, hey, anyways, that's what I would do, having worked with thousands of expanding companies all over the globe. Now, right, I shared some valuable information. Again, we've got the potential of something here. Hey, Jamie, thanks so much, right? Thanks so much. You know what? We could actually probably get your post in front of 500 people, and it was actually this post right here. What do you think? Now, that could be a response. That could, but you know what I got? Crickets. If you start something, finish it, right? Sometimes those people who are out there to challenge you, they might turn into great clients, but we can't give up at the first little sign of resistance, right? Those messages that I send out there in times, I'm testing them because I'm always looking to expand my team with the right people, right? I ran across an interaction the other night where someone actually, it was kind of neat because, they just kept copying and pasting the same message. And they're like, I don't copy and paste. It's like, okay, well, these 3 messages here that are all exactly the same with the exact same pronunciation, the exact same spacing and everything, you're telling me that, you don't copy and paste. And what was interesting is this person's like, well, not getting back to someone is rude too. And they kind of let go, but I liked that. I liked it because it was the first sign of someone actually being real. And that's the difference. It was the first sign of someone being real. So what did I do? I actually engaged in some great chat with that person. I ended up giving him some suggestions and doing stuff. And it was an awesome conversation. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the glass or 2 of wine that I was drinking, right? Nothing to do with it. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun. But at the same time, this person really, truly valued that interaction. And for me, it was a great interaction. I shared some really key things. I shared some resources that they could go take a look at, how to really flip the script on selling on all this. And you know what? It ended up, they were extremely appreciative. I felt great after it. Right? It was a good interaction. And it's because that person pushed back, right? That person wasn't a supplicant, right? They didn't go to that negative space. Now, I want to let you take this next one, Mick. I want to let you take this next one here because you know what? It can go in an interesting direction when we see those kind of words on the screen. What's your thoughts about size mattering?
Look, in some contexts, it doesn't matter, but in this, it does.
Right, guys?
Look, if anyone tells you size doesn't matter, they're telling lies. Size matters.
Yeah. This is 8 inches.
Yep. It certainly is, Jamie. Look, Size matters, I'm telling you, because if you're chat sequencing someone and you got a $57, $97 product, that's probably perfectly fine. But if you're selling a $50, $80, $70, $100,000 program or package, and not even in the coaching space, but you're selling, like a $50,000 web development system or software program or something like that, then chat sequencing will not work.
No.
Those people aren't responding to chat sequences.
Yep.
If I'm looking for someone to build my website, I'm not being chat sequenced to. I'm not looking for someone to come and push onto me. I'm going searching for the right person. I'm the person looking to buy, not being sold to. So it matters. So if you're selling a $10,000 web development, that's not happening over a chat sequence. Yeah. And even if you wanted to offer an introductory, a free landing page, like people, it may work for some people, but depending on where that's why we say size matters. Because if you're selling a low-end product, then sure, chat sequencing has its place and it can work effectively. Yeah. But if you're trying to sell a $50,000 business development program, those people aren't looking to be chat sequenced to.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine trying to reach out to
really low conversion rates if you have any at all?
Yeah. Yeah. And what you'll do most often is you will piss people off. Right, Mick, you received a chat sequence the other day, and we're not going to name names. We're not going to say anything about it or anything like that. But you got a chat sequence, and what's the first thing that kind of went through your mind when you got that chat sequence?
I was like, really? You didn't even have a look?
Yeah. Like flabbergasted.
I was like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. It leads us into our next point. Spend time researching your prospect. Like, seriously, do some work. It doesn't take much. You can Facebook stalk the heck out of people. When, Mick, when you and I were down at NAC back in 2019, right, I talked to Gary. I was talking with Gary there, and we are going back and forth a little bit, and I want to make a big impact with his group, the Sasha Group. Right, he's just starting out the company at the time and all that. And I asked him a question like, Gary, how can I make a really big difference for you guys? I see what you do. I see the value that you provide. How can we do a little bit of collaboration, work together? He goes, yeah, just send me an email. Now, here's the thing. At first, it's like, oh, Gary, what's your number? Gary would have laughed at me if I said, hey, what's your email? Because there's freaking emails all over the place. All you have to do is go into the Google machine. What is Gary V's email? It's going to give it to you. Right? Sure, it might have to go through a gatekeeper or two, but it's going to get to him. Right? That's that stuff that's easy to do. You'd be amazed at what you can discover when you spend that time actually going in and doing a little bit of research. Now, why do I say that? Because what we're looking to do here is we want to develop some sort of status tip-off. What's a status tip-off? It's the idea that that person that you're approaching or you approaching them, they're going to say, hey, this person's either at the same level as me or maybe even higher or ahead of me. Because what do? We want to learn from mentors. We want to learn from people who have been there and done it. We're not interested in learning from someone that's a virtual unknown or anything like that. We want to know that people have done it. What's the best way to do it? Is when that person shares some key knowledge, some key information that clearly identifies them as someone who is the expert in that field. But here's the thing. Shallow similarities, right? Just those shallow. I'm going to give some examples here. Those shallow similarities, they don't create status alignment. That's what we want. We want to create some status alignment here, not thinking like, I mean, the example, and I've done it over and over and over, our telephone company here, one of the major providers for telephone, for cellular service and all that, it's TELUS Communications. Right? And I will phone these people, and they have done some, they've done some outsourcing and stuff like that. And I now believe that a lot of their call centers and stuff are either in Guatemala or they're in the Philippines. Right. And what do I do? And what does for the most part, any person do? You get on the phone and we start talking with these people, and you'll ask some questions. You'll work with them. You'll do your best to work with them. And the moment that something isn't going, or you feel that your information is not going to be answered, what do? Hey, can I speak to your supervisor? Nothing against you, but can I go ahead and speak to your supervisor? Right. Have you ever done that, Mick? Have you ever asked to speak to the supervisor?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to speak to someone else.
Yep. Why? Because the person that you're speaking with or the person that you're dealing with in that moment doesn't have the correct status, the correct authority to be able to effectively help you and get your questions answered in a timely manner and hopefully solve your problem. All right. The big thing about this is a lot of people will want to connect on shallow similarities. Hey, I see you're a coach. Do you enjoy it? How long have you been coaching? See, these are very shallow connections. Hey, I'm a coach too. Check these out. Hey, I see that we used to live in the same town. Well, there's no connection there. Yeah, great. And so does, 100,000 other people. So what? That's really what someone's getting. Here's another one. Hey, you like sports too? Yeah, right. Yeah, I like sports. I like watching footy. I like whatever it is. That means nothing. Check this one out. This one's the best one yet. Hey, so you like to breathe oxygen too? No way. You breathe oxygen? I breathe oxygen. No freaking way. Let's talk about shallow similarities.
Please tell me someone said that to you, Jamie. That would be the best.
They didn't. I just made that up today. But that's I did that specifically because that's really what a shallow similarity is, right? It doesn't really stick out. But check this out. This one's kind of neat. I noticed that you also attended Tony Robbins' UPW in Dallas back in 2015. Do you remember all the press the next morning after the firewalk? You remember them flocking around like vultures to capture pictures of the people who burnt their feet off? Now, what have I done there? I used a few key words, but I made it super hyper relevant because people that weren't at that UPW event, people that don't even know what UPW is, that's going to go right over their heads. It's not going to create, any connection for them. But the people that were there, they'd be like, yeah, right? Do you remember those dumpsters where like they picked up all the ashes after the firewalk? They picked up the ashes and they threw them in those bins. Do you remember those reporters with their cameras? They were like climbing up on the garbage bins and they're like taking pictures. What are we doing? We're creating some sort of meaningful point that we can move forward from. That's the big thing here. Now, there's one more here. There's one more that I want to share here. Right, this one's a great one, and I'd mentioned that I had a couple glasses of wine and I was interacting with someone that was really trying to sell me something. Now, this is one of the pictures off their profile. Now, obviously, the picture itself was a lot bigger. I went through their profile and I was just looking for something. I came across this one here. What I did is I zoomed in. Okay, you can see the picture's kind of grainy. It's purposely like that because I zoomed in a whole bunch of the picture. But what did I notice going on in the background? I noticed a picture of Kuan Yin. Now watch this. You want to talk about a status tip-off? I want to share this one with you. Hey, is that Kuan Yin in the background? I'm a huge believer in Buddhist philosophy. I had the opportunity to study directly with a Tibetan monk who introduced me to the Tipitaka. I especially enjoyed Vinaya Pitaka because it helped me gain an even better understanding of the real keys to communal harmony. Now, what did I do? I did some research to write those words up. But guess what? It shows that I actually give a shit about what that person has, about who that person is, right? And again, it's going to do either one of two things. It's either going to totally go over their head, right? I don't know. It's just some picture. Like, it's not even mine. I don't live here, right? I was at my friend's place. I don't know anything about it. Or they're going to be like, oh my God, you've taken the time to actually study that. You get to develop some sort of connection from that place. And from there, you can actually take the steps to build a relationship.
And look, Jamie, you did a couple of key things there. You took the time, you showed some genuine effort, and you were specific about something that you liked or that you could engage with. If straight away I get that from you, I'm like, hey, that's awesome. That was, like you say, you got a few ways to respond to that, but it straight away builds a connection. And you're like, hey, this guy actually put some effort in. He's not just trying to spam me, or he's not. This is the kind of thing that what Jamie and I are talking about. When you say put some effort in, go onto their profile. You might find a potential client online. You think, hey, I think this guy would be great for my program or great for my business. Go on his profile, have a look, see what you can see, look through some of his stuff, and you say, hey, I specifically love this post you put up here about whatever it is. My veggie garden on my Instagram page. Hey, I see you grow your own vegetables. How have you found blah, blah, blah? You're like, oh, hey, yeah, cool, man. I love this. I love growing vegetables every summer, every winter out here because it's ridiculously hot in summer. We grow this and I love the tomatoes and we make this and it's awesome. Oh, so cool. We do this. Oh, awesome. I've never tried that. Straight away, you build a connection. What do you do for a living? I noticed you've got a business page or have a look. what's the best thing about you? Like, then you can build a connection about what it is you're trying to connect with them about. They've straight away went, oh, seems like a decent enough guy. And when they ask a business related question, you're not like, oh, he's just trying to sell. This guy is genuinely interested in something that's going on. Hey, I noticed you're in the business coaching space. What's been your biggest challenge?
Yeah.
You know, like, put some effort in, use some genuine conversation, rapport building skills, and grow the, like, honestly, I could talk about this all day. It's so frustrating because you see these automated sequence. They have a set script. That's all they're allowed to put in, and it just misses the mark.
And here's the thing, like, I get it. This is going to really mess with, people that have their many chats. But here's the thing. We're not poo-pooing chat. Like, there's a place for that kind of chat, right? Many chats and all that. Maybe it is that lower dollar value item, right? Maybe it is someone who is, maybe it is something up to $10,000. Maybe they're targeting someone who is not as familiar with that. The people who are in it, right? And really making, this comes down to our ideal clients. Our ideal clients have been around. They are familiar with this stuff. So at least in our businesses, right, these aren't practices that what we would use. We would do something very different. We would make meaningful connection with the people who are truly looking to connect with. And that's the big differentiator.
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. And that's what it's all about. You and I have similar values, which is why we work together. It's about building genuine connection, because we both value that, and it's not about selling anything. And that's why we do the show for free, because we value genuine connection. We want to share it out there. We want to help the community, and that's something we both do and we both love. So, and something that frustrates both of us is these forced pushy sales that you get daily from social media, which is what sparked the idea for today's show, just because we get so many of them, and it's quite funny.
Yeah. Have some fun with it, right? Change the meaning behind it, because everything really truly is an opportunity. What was the opportunity here? Hey, look, I got to take a bunch of those chats. I got to put them in this quick and dirty little slideshow that we shared here today, and we got to have some fun with it, right? That was really the opportunity. I didn't get stuck in that place of, why are these people always messaging me? It's just such a pain in my ass. I didn't worry about that. It's like, you know what? I know that I'm going to use it for something. I know it's going to pop up somewhere. Lo and behold, boom, we got to use them right here today. So that's really the opportunity. Remember, I'm the opportunity guy. What's the opportunity here? Each and every one of those messages taught me something. Each and every one of those messages, much like Thomas Edison when he was inventing the light bulb, he learned a whole lot of lessons of what not to do. Those people reaching out and using these generic type chats, they're teaching me a lot about what not to do. And I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. Me too. And you take the opportunity to respond and add some value, and it just reinforces or teaches you new things about how not to approach people, and the lessons of the prize.
Absolutely.
With that said, thank you very much, everyone, for jumping on our show today. Thank you for the viewers. We really, really appreciate everyone who watches. So hope you got a ton of value out of that. I know I had fun doing it, because this is a topic we both love to play with. So thank you very much. And see you next week.
Absolutely. And actually, speaking of next week, we will not be on. I'm actually down attending. I'll be down in San Diego attending Orrin Claff's Vortex event. It is the world's premier event for learning how to pitch properly. So I know there are still a few tickets left. If you want some information about the tickets, please reach out to me. It's only going to be for a limited time. Go ahead, reach out. We've still got a few tickets, and there's a way for people to be able to attend both in person and virtually. So if you're interested about that, send me a message over. Love to help you get in contact with that. Until we meet again, which is going to be in 2 weeks live, go have an absolutely inspired life. We'll catch you real soon.
See you soon.